The Cooperative City Gardens Phase 1 and 2 is being developed by El Salem Nigeria Limited and financed by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN. The project started in 2010 and has about 650 affordable housing units made up of 4-bedroom detached buildings, 3-bedroom semi-detached buildings, and 2-bedroom semi-detached buildings.
Initially, they don't think mortgage work here, but we've come to tell them that actually mortgage system functions. I thank Federal Mortgage Bank for what they're doing. I thank them a lot. They are doing a wonderful work to tell every gainfully employed individual that this thing works.
Though the Cooperative City Gardens estate is still under construction, most of the infrastructure is already in place. The estate has been connected to the national grid for the provision of power. There are also overhead and underground tanks for regular water supply.
The infrastructure comprises of the road. I think you've seen the asphalt road there, though we're still working on some of them. You see the water there, that's an industrial borehole circulated around the whole estate. Of course, you see lights, there is lights here, and the security, they're all in place. We're trying to make sure that all these things are perfectly, done and all that. But as you can see, everything here now is okay.
The housing estate is an example of the kind of partnerships between the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and private real estate developers.
We have every right to sell these houses to politicians, let me use that word, and all that, but to have the interest of the civil servant at heart. Like I told you initially, 90 to 80% of these houses belong to civil servants, and they were able to get it. It's working. So we need an encouragement to achieve the Vision 2020 of the federal government.
The estate is already being occupied by Nigerians who have been able to take advantage of being NHF contributors. Mrs. Amaka Nwimo, whose husband works with the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, is one of such.
The problem of accommodation here in Abuja is not easy. Because of the money we are paying, it's not easy. The challenges we are facing in a rented apartment. Before my husband now got this house through FMB, Federal Mortgage Bank loan, and the developer XLM. I thank them because I'm happy now that I'm staying in my own apartment. I don't have any child. I don't share anything with people. I'm happy that now I'm the landlady of this house.
Mrs. Magdalene Dollar is another resident. She moved in with her family in December 2013.
It's a loan from the Federal Mortgage Bank. So it was quite easy though. It was quite easy getting it, and since then it's been good. It wasn't stressful at all. We just moved in, and so far you can see I'm in my house and it's been nice.
For both families, it is the end of their nightmare with landlords. For this, they are grateful for the collaboration between the FMBN, the NHF, and El Salem for making it possible for them to own their own homes. The Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, has signed an Abuja City Center Development Agreement with international businessman Chika Okafor. The project, known as the Abuja Downtown Project, will cost $2.75 billion and will provide secondary infrastructure, which includes a shopping mall, a 5-star hotel, conference centers, office complexes, underground parking lots, and residential towers. The execution of the project will span over a period of 5 years. The Director of Development Control, FCTA, Yahaya Yusuf, said the idea is to come up with structures that will blow the skyline of the city to create a focal point so that Abuja will become a reference point and a choice destination for tourists and investors. The Abuja Geographical Information System, AGIS, is raking into the coffers of the FCT 1.5 billion naira monthly. The Executive Director of Aegis, Mrs. Jamila Tangaza, stated this while speaking with journalists shortly after the commissioning of the new Aegis system in Abuja. She said that the new system is an upgrade and is meant to check fraud in Abuja land administration. While happy with the monthly collection of a little more than 1.5 billion naira, she is, however, hopeful that the monthly revenue accruing to the FCT will hit the 2 billion naira mark before the year runs out. Mimfa 1 Garden Estate in the Lokogoma area of the Federal Capital City is the outcome of the loan agreement between the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and Platinum Mortgage Bank. Built about 4 years ago, the estate caters to middle and low-income earners, mostly civil servants. Today, the estate is mostly occupied by contributors to the National Housing Fund. Mr. Anselm Okolo is a journalist who owns a house in Mimfa Garden Estate. He says it was a tale of woes before he became a contributor to the National Housing Fund.
You also have to deal with the Shylock landlords. You have to deal with very difficult neighbors and all of that. And then you see there's also the issue of the environment where you live. If you live in a place like Idukarimu, you live in some of these slum areas, you may want to, you may have a good house, but the environment takes away every other advantages that can possibly come with it. So these are some of the things Abuja people experience when you live in a rented apartment. It is, you cannot wish it for your enemy.
Evidently, the joy of Mr. Anselm Okolo is limitless as he counts his blessings.
I feel relaxed, I feel relaxed and comfortable. It's a blessing of God. It's for God's grace. And I will also say, by the grace of those that came up with this idea of private developers coming up with buildings and then providing it to Nigerians through the National Housing Fund program. I am a beneficiary of it, and I can tell you that that's one of the best things that can ever happen to anybody.
Like most Nigerians, Mr. Anselm Okolo initially had reservations about the National Housing Fund.
When we came and then we were told that these houses will be delivered in a year, we took it as one of those long stories that will never have an end. But by the grace of God, it did have an end. We were allocated units. We were like, well, let's wait and see whether it will not be one of those 419 things. But lo and behold, we moved in, did very minimal renovation, very minimal, and moved in, and that's it.
Drawing from his experience, Mr. Anselm Okolo advises Nigerians not to hesitate in taking advantage of the housing scheme being run by the National Housing Fund.
This is a reality. This is happening. It has happened to me. It's happening to a whole lot of other people. Particularly, I don't want to talk about others, but I know about, if you do it through Platinum Savings and Loan Scheme, they have delivered and they will continue to deliver.
Message from Bulus Victor reads, why can't individual NHF contributors deal directly with Federal Mortgage Bank? I believe that it may make accessibility to loans much easier.
We are designed by policy to provide secondary services. Other institutions like the primary mortgage banks or institutions are designed to provide primary mortgage services. The same person would have asked the same question. He wants to do a cash transaction. Why can't he go to the central bank directly? Because the central bank plays that role as a regulator, as a banker's bank. So there are banks, the business is designed in that way.
A text message from Emmanuel Abaji reads, I work with a private company in Lokoja, Kogi State. How do I monitor my contribution? to know whether my company is remitting my NHF contribution or not.
First of all, you are free to always liaise with our bank, any of the branches where you understand, to confirm whether your contribution is remitted in as much as you are resident of that particular state. So you can check our state office to find out about your contribution, whether your employer has remitted or not. But above all, the work has been made easier now by the bank, because the bank of recent has just launched the e-card for the NHF collection. So automatically, with that card, much as your employer remits your contribution to the bank, you automatically receive alert